September the 3rd, 2023. You're looking at an article from Zero Hedge from 10 a.m. this morning, and most of you are aware of what's going on in Burning Man. You can't really turn on any social media, YouTube, or anything else, and or type in Burning Man without getting this news. I've got some information that has got my interest up. I've never been there, never cared to, never want to be. Last year it was so dry and hot that they suffered and were so glad to get out of there. This year, not as many people there. I think they're saying 73,000. It's a city, but some didn't go because of, one, what happened to them last year. They got stuck in a traffic jam, 18 lanes wide coming out of there for 8 hours, and the fact that the economy's not what it was. A lot of people that had pre-bought tickets ended up trying to sell them because it's expensive to do it. And I think they've been there, it's about a week-long deal, or 10 days, maybe 10 days. And I think this afternoon maybe they were going to do the Burning Man thing. But it's a very Sodom and Gomorrah type place. The atmosphere, the people that go there are pretty much Sodom and Gomorrah. What else can you say? And a lot of them take their kids. But right now they are stuck. And it reminds me of other people getting stuck in natural disasters with the exits blocked and things like that. And we saw it overseas out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But guys, I'll read some of this, and then I'm going to go over a few things. And they were talking about that they had hoped they would not get any more rain, and maybe by Monday they could start letting people in and out of there. You can't even ride your bike. They say walking is like carrying concrete blocks on each shoe. And the images from there, they look miserable. Then last night it turned really windy and really cold, so everybody was wet and mud, especially the tent goers. And you can't get in your campers and try to get out of there. All you're going to do is sink up to the axles on anything that moves, even bicycles. But it's not sand like on a beach. It is a silt, like an ancient lake or ancient ocean bed. So unlike sand, this really turns to a clay mud, and if it hardens and your vehicle's stuck in it, you're going to have a track hoe to get it out. But now they've shut the gates to not only this place, but they've shut the gates to the airport to where you can fly in and out, which is right outside the gates. But there's rain coming in. I'm going to show you that on AccuWeather radar. So they're not going to get they're not going to get the drying sun they want today. But they've been told to shelter in place, preserve your food and water, and try to stay warm as best you can. They're saying food and fuel are running low for the tents of thousands of attendees and tech bros trapped at the Burning Man Festival, located in one of the harshest environments on Earth, high desert on a dried-up alkaline lake bed in the Black Rock Desert in Nevada. Again, top left, northwest section. It says it's transformed the area into a mudpocalypse. Since early Saturday, all entry and exit points of the Burning Man Festival remain closed due to the thick alkaline mud. As of 9 o'clock Eastern Time, Sunday, event organizers said the gate and airport in and out of Black Rock City remain closed. Ingress and egress are halted until further notice. You can't go in or out. No driving is permitted except for emergency vehicles. Organizers continue to advise the 73,000 attendees to conserve food and water and shelter in a warm place. Same thing they said in Ohio. Now, I watched a good bit of videos. Tina and I was checking this out this morning, and there was a group of guys. Chris Rock, the comedian, was one of them, and they were riding in the back of the pickup, and they said they had walked 6 miles to get out to meet someone that picked them up in the truck. And then there was another one where a guy said that an ambulance had come in there and got somebody out of there that had died. They won't bring, and I don't know if they were dead when they got them or they died later on. And no one will say what happened there. Then there was a video, and that's really what got my interest peaked in this thing, is the guy was saying a friend of his flew out of there on an airplane that had brought somebody out of Burning Man into LAX in Los Angeles, that airport. and that the people that went in and did this were in hazmat suits. The guy was vomiting blood heavily. Then his friend, when they landed at LAX, showed a video of that section of that one of the world's largest airports empty. It was nighttime, and there was no one around when they got off the plane. Nothing, like it all had been evacuated in that section. If you're from the LAX, you know anything about it, let us know, because again, it was just a video, and the guy was talking about it, and he did show the video from his friend landing in LAX, and it looks like a vacant parking lot. But guys, the symbolism with this is very Sodom and Gomorrah, and we know the Lord is very angry with this planet now. It says they confirm that local officials have reported at least one death, but have not released details on the suspected cause of death. A major concern is that the toxic alkali dust that makes up the lake bed is now 3 inches of mud, and if attendees aren't wearing socks and closed shoes, it can cause chemical burns called playa foot. That's what they call this place, and they pray to playa. And it absorbs all the moisture. Any type of alkaline like that will absorb all the moisture out of your skin. But chemical burns, it says, all fun and games until the alkaline-rich mud sucks the moisture right out of the skin. Those porta-johns are filthy and can't be emptied. No trucks can get in there and do the cleaning and restocking and flushing, any of that. It said on a sunny day it takes 11 hours to commute into this remote barren lake. Again, they've got 18 lanes of gates that snake through that section coming up into the south part of it that let you in and out. Now, I saw one video from last year, and the people finally got out of there. It was really hot and dusty then, but it took them 8 hours to make that. If a straight line, it's about a mile, but it's probably about 4 miles by the way that they route this S-curve traffic out of there. But it was an 8-hour delay, and all 18 lanes were backed up as far as you could see, trying to get out. And that was dry conditions, good ground. It says the person really explained Burning Man so well, like that it is a legit safety hazard now. But when they tell you to shelter in place, then that brings up a lot of questions in people's mind, doesn't it? More footage of the geniuses who decided to party in a toxic dry lake bed only to find out it occasionally rains in the desert. Burning Man is a mess. Here it's saying 60,000, some reports 73. Said upward of 60,000 people are literally stuck in the mud and have been ordered to stay put. Says a challenging situation unfolds as the desert festival site turns into a sea of mud due to unexpected rain, leaving Burning Man attendees trapped. Stay safe, resilient, and support one another. It says more than 73,000 people are trapped in mud in Burning Man in Nevada due to major flooding. In Las Vegas, guys, it got one of the worst floods I've ever seen. I mean, cars were underwater, the streets looked like rivers, and all of this is still moving from down in the Vegas area north towards Black Rock City. Said not everyone's feeling sorry for all the rich folks stuck in the mud at Burning Man. Let's check this out on the map. It's some interesting things you can find out. I did. Like I said, I've never even looked into it, just saw it in the headlines here and there. If you come to Nevada, up in the northwest corner, you'll see what the Black Rock Desert section looks like, all of this area here. Now here's Gerlach, probably got to do maybe part of one of the entrances, but the actual setup is here. If you bring this up and scroll it up through this area, again, northeast of Gerlach, you'll see Black Rock Desert right there. There's a cross there. I don't know if it's a Christian church or just one of their worship things. But guys, it's a mile from this center right here to the outer edge of the circle. This is a massive small city. Now, let me point out a couple things. I guess this is the land that's been allocated, and it's a pentagram 5-sided, and there's a fence. Pull this up right there, and it is a perfect pentagram. Now, the like I said, we saw a video where Chris Rock and some other people said they had walked out 6 miles and it looked like they were on a paved road. And one of the closer ones is right here. Now, this is 3 miles from the center of the camp. From the center to the outer edges of the circle is 1 mile, 2 more miles in a straight line to this highway. So that's 3 miles if you can do it. If you had to walk out, which I would try before I sit in there, starved to death, had no water, and with all the porta potties overrunning, it's going to be every type of bacteria you can think of. Again, I'm not sure the conditions there, but a lot of this is kind of flat. Some of it's a little bit higher ground. But if you look at the distance, and it may help someone there if they bring in some way to get your cell phones up, from here in this section to the outer edge is 1 mile, 1.06 miles. And then from there to this paved road, guys, you could be looking at 3 miles. That's if you don't go on that long winding road where everyone got stuck last year coming out of it. Don't know the situation, but if you were looking at it and you look dead west, you had a compass, it would be this section where it says Plan Playa Hood. I hope that's not what I think it is there. But you would come to the next section that points south and southwest from there, or west and southwest here, and that would lead you in a pretty much straight line. Now, while we're here, I want to take an interesting look at this pentagram. I've outlined it in the yellow there. And the things that are inside there, again, you've got the church that's in the very dead center. I don't think it's a Christian church. Then you start coming in. Now, they were hoping they wouldn't get any more rain today, guys, and that's not going to happen. And they may be stuck till later in the week. Some are saying possibly Thursday, and that's why they're telling them, because now they're at the end of their planned 7 to 10 day stay there, and many are running out of food and water. I've even heard of some theft going on for people that were hungry. But if you come to AccuWeather and you type in Black Rock City, that's what we're dealing with, and it's going to bring you up into northern Nevada, Black Rock Desert here. And this yellow area that you're seeing is pretty much where we're talking about. These 3 lines, the gray lines right there, are the airport for Black Rock City or for Burning Man. And they're right outside that gate. And I was showing you 2 planes coming in this area. But if you keep pulling it up, look what happens. It actually brings up this 1 mile circle that we were talking about. Now, I've got this paused at 10:35 a.m., the timing on the weather. But I want to go to now. Totally different situation. They're not getting much relief at all. Now, again, at night, last night, it turned bitterly cold. People were wet, that didn't have adequate shelter. The porta potties are full anyway, but it was just miserable. People were walking with bags on their shoes so they didn't sink down. But again, we're right here. And let's play this thing forward. I'm going to back out. Just kind of remember where the airport is with these lines. Right there. And this is what's going to be coming at you guys through the day. You're counting on the edge of it now. As it gets a little further into the day, you can see 11:48 a.m. your time. It goes up to 1:30. And here you're starting to get some heavier moisture along this area. And here, we'll back it on out. You can see what's coming from the south here. So guys, definitely, if you can contact folks in there and give them this information, I'm not that familiar with the area, but things are just not looking quite right. I would be very concerned, and I would want to get out of there. We're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.